Breaking Arsenal. Make fresh contact for Nico Williams' massive €90 million transfer update. Today's breaking news could be one of the biggest stories of Arsenal's summer transfer window. According to fresh reports, Arsenal have once again made contact regarding Athletic Club winger Nico Williams. The Gunners are reportedly exploring the possibility of bringing one of Europe's most exciting attacking talents to North London as Mikel Arteta continues his mission to build a squad capable of winning the Premier League and competing for the UEFA Champions League. If you love Arsenal as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners. Now, before we go any further, it is important to remember that this is still a developing transfer story. Reports indicate Arsenal have renewed their interest, but there has been no official confirmation of an agreement between the clubs or with the player. However, the fact that Arsenal continue to be linked with Nico Williams tells us just how highly the club rates him. So, Gunners, I want to hear from you right away. Would you spend around €90 million to sign Nico Williams? Comment yes if you think Arsenal should go all in, or comment no if you believe that money should be invested elsewhere. Let's make this the biggest Arsenal discussion today. When we talk about Nico Williams, we are talking about one of the most exciting young wingers in world football. He has developed into a key player for Athletic Club, becoming one of La Liga's most dangerous attacking threats thanks to his incredible pace, dribbling ability, direct style and creativity. Every time he receives the ball, defenders immediately begin to panic. Why? Because they know he isn't simply going to recycle possession. He wants to attack. He wants to beat defenders one-on-one. He wants to create chances. And most importantly, he wants to make the difference in big matches. Those are exactly the type of players Arsenal have been targeting under Mikel Arteta. Over the last few seasons, Arsenal's recruitment has followed a clear pattern. Arteta wants players who are technically gifted, players who can press aggressively, players who work hard without the ball, players who are young enough to improve, and players capable of performing under pressure. Nico Williams checks many of those boxes. He is explosive, fearless, confident, creative, and already has experience playing at the highest level. That combination makes him one of Europe's most sought-after attacking players. But why would Arsenal be interested now? That is the big question. Many supporters have felt that while Arsenal possess quality attacking options, the squad could still benefit from another elite winger to increase competition and provide greater tactical flexibility. Last season, Arsenal relied heavily on Bukayo Saka on the right wing. Whenever Saka was unavailable or needed rest, the team often lacked the same attacking threat. On the opposite side, Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard have both contributed significantly in recent seasons. But competition for places is a hallmark of title-winning squads. Adding another top-class winger would give Arteta more options across a long and demanding campaign. Imagine Arsenal having the flexibility to rotate world-class attacking players without significantly reducing quality. That is exactly what clubs like Manchester City have done for years. When one player is unavailable, another elite player steps in. It keeps the squad fresh, it increases competition, it pushes everyone to perform at their highest level. Arsenal are trying to build that same depth. Signing a player like Nico Williams would represent another major step toward that objective. One of Nico Williams' greatest strengths is his ability to take on defenders. In modern football, very few players consistently beat opponents in 1-versus-1 situations. Nico is one of them. His acceleration over the first few metres is exceptional. His close control allows him to change direction quickly. He attacks fullbacks with confidence. He creates space where none appears to exist. That kind of unpredictability can unlock even the most organised defensive blocks. Imagine Arsenal playing against a team defending with 10 men behind the ball. Those matches are often decided by individual brilliance. A player capable of dribbling past 2 or 3 defenders can completely change the game. That is precisely why clubs value wingers like Nico Williams so highly. He offers something different. He brings excitement. He creates moments. And sometimes moments decide championships. Another aspect of his game that deserves recognition is his speed. Premier League football is incredibly fast. Defenders are stronger. Transitions happen in seconds. To succeed consistently, attackers need explosive pace. Nico Williams certainly has that. Whether Arsenal are counter-attacking or stretching opposition defences, his speed would become a major weapon. Imagine Martin Odegaard winning possession before playing an early through ball into space. Now picture Nico Williams racing beyond defenders. That is exactly the kind of situation Arsenal supporters would love to see every weekend. Of course, signing a player of this calibre would not be easy. Reports suggest any deal could require meeting a very substantial release clause. That means Arsenal would need to make a significant financial commitment. The transfer fee would be enormous. Personal terms would also be substantial. Competition from other top European clubs could make negotiations even more difficult. But Arsenal have shown in recent years that they are willing to invest heavily in players they believe can improve the team. Declan Rice is one example. Kai Havertz is another. If Arsenal believe Nico Williams is the right fit, they may be prepared to make another major investment. One thing is certain, Mikel Arteta is not building a squad simply to finish in the top four. His ambition is much bigger. The objective is to win the Premier League, to challenge for the Champions League, to compete with Europe's elite year after year. To achieve that, Arsenal need world-class depth in every position. Adding another elite winger would strengthen the squad significantly. But there are still many questions that remain unanswered. Will Nico Williams want to leave Athletic Club? Would Arsenal activate the reported release clause? Will other European giants enter the race? Before we continue with the tactical analysis in part 2, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Should Arsenal go all out for Nico Williams? Would you start him ahead of Martinelli? Would you rotate him with Saka? Or would you prefer Arsenal to strengthen another position instead? If you're enjoying this transfer update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk and turn on notifications so you never miss another breaking Arsenal transfer story. Up next in part 2, we'll break down exactly how Nico Williams would fit into Mikel Arteta's tactical system. Compare him with Arsenal's current wingers, examine the strengths and weaknesses of a potential deal, and discuss what this signing could mean for Arsenal's title ambitions. Stay tuned. How Nico Williams would transform Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. Welcome back, Gunners. If you've made it this far, you're a true Arsenal supporter. And today we're diving deeper into one of the biggest transfer stories of the summer. Reports continue to suggest that Arsenal have renewed their interest in Nico Williams as they assess options to strengthen their attack. While nothing has been officially agreed, it's worth exploring exactly why Mikel Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta could see him as an ideal addition. Let's break it all down. The first thing to understand is that Arsenal's attack is already among the best in England. Bukayo Saka has become one of the Premier League's elite players. Gabriel Martinelli remains a constant threat with his pace and direct running. Leandro Trossard has repeatedly delivered important goals and assists. Kai Havertz has shown he can contribute in advanced areas. Martin Odegaard continues to be the creative heartbeat of the team. So the question isn't whether Arsenal have good attackers. The question is whether they have enough elite depth to compete across an entire season. Last season showed just how demanding the campaign can be. Between Premier League matches, Champions League nights, domestic cup competitions and international breaks, the schedule leaves very little time for recovery. Every top club needs players capable of rotating without weakening the team. That is where Nico Williams becomes so interesting. One of Williams' biggest strengths is his versatility. Although he is most comfortable on the left wing, he can also operate on the right when needed. That flexibility is incredibly valuable. Imagine Saka needing a rest before a huge Champions League quarter-final. Instead of significantly changing the team's attacking quality, Arteta could simply move Nico to the right or rotate his front three. That gives Arsenal tactical flexibility they haven't always had. Another major reason Arsenal admire Williams is his ability in 1-versus-1 situations. Modern football is increasingly decided by players who can beat defenders without needing elaborate passing moves. Against teams that defend deep, breaking down compact defences is one of the hardest tasks. Sometimes all it takes is one winger beating his fullback. Williams thrives in those situations. Could Arsenal really complete the Nico Williams deal? Welcome back once again, Gunners. We've discussed why Arsenal are interested in Nico Williams and how he could fit into Mikel Arteta's tactical system. Now it's time to look at the biggest questions surrounding this reported move. Can Arsenal actually complete the transfer? Let's get into it. The biggest obstacle appears to be the financial side of the deal. Reports have suggested that activating Nico Williams' release clause could cost around €90 million. On top of that, Arsenal would also need to agree on personal terms, agent fees, and the overall package involved in signing one of Europe's most sought-after wingers. That means this would likely be one of the most expensive transfers in Arsenal's history. It would also represent a major statement of intent from the club. However, Arsenal have shown in recent years that they are prepared to spend when they believe the player is the right fit. The club invested heavily in Declan Rice because they saw him as a transformational signing. They have also spent significantly on players like Kai Havertz and others as they rebuilt the squad under Mikel Arteta. The key question is whether Arsenal believe Nico Williams can have that same transformational impact. If the answer is yes, they could decide the investment is worth making. Another challenge is competition. When a player of Nico Williams' quality becomes available, Europe's biggest clubs naturally pay attention. That means Arsenal may not be alone in the race if they decide to pursue the deal seriously. Competition can drive up wages, increase pressure during negotiations, and make transfers much more complicated. That is why patience is so important during the transfer window. There is also the player's perspective. Leaving Athletic Club would be a huge decision. He has developed there, enjoys the support of the fans, and has become one of the club's biggest stars. Any move would have to be right not only financially, but also for his career. From Arsenal's point of view, they would need to present a convincing sporting project. Fortunately for the Gunners, they can offer Champions League football, a young and ambitious squad, and a manager who has helped many players improve. That project could be very attractive to elite footballers. If Nico Williams were to join Arsenal, what would it mean for the current squad? Competition would immediately increase. Gabriel Martinelli would face even greater pressure to keep his place. Leandro Trossard would continue to be a valuable option across multiple attacking positions. Bukayo Saka could finally receive more opportunities to rest during a demanding season. Rather than weakening the team, that depth could strengthen Arsenal's challenge across every competition. Imagine Arsenal entering the final months of the season. Instead of tired legs and limited options, Arteta would have multiple high-quality attackers ready to start or come off the bench. That is often the difference between finishing second and lifting trophies. Depth matters, rotation matters, keeping key players fresh matters. The best teams in Europe understand that. Still, it's important to keep expectations realistic. At the time of this report, there has been no official confirmation that Arsenal have reached an agreement with either Athletic Club or Nico Williams. Interest is one thing, completing a transfer is another. Negotiations can change quickly, and many reported deals never reach the finish line. For that reason, Arsenal supporters should follow reliable updates and wait for official announcements before celebrating. What cannot be denied is that Arsenal continue to be linked with some of the biggest names in world football. That reflects how far the club has come under Mikel Arteta. Not long ago, Arsenal were fighting just to return to the Champions League. Now they are regularly mentioned alongside Europe's elite when top players become available. That progress is significant. As the transfer window continues, every update will be closely watched. Will Arsenal take the next step? Will formal negotiations progress? Will another club enter the race? Or will Nico Williams remain at Athletic Club? Only time will tell. Until then, every development will be worth following closely. Now it's your turn, Gunners. Do you think Arsenal should invest such a huge fee in Nico Williams? Or would you rather see the club spend that money on a world-class striker or another position? Share your opinion in the comments below. I read as many of your comments as possible, and I'd love to know what you think. If you enjoyed this in-depth transfer analysis, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Arsenal transfer news, breaking updates, match analysis, and everything happening at the Emirates. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, come on you Gunners.